non-basketball fan, a free throw, which is basically the most boring part of the sport, is like a pretty boring topic. And chances are that for most of us, whether we make 3 out of 10 or 5 out of 10, isn't really going to keep us up at night. But that being said, free throws are actually a very interesting topic that really encapsulates the whole mental aspect of sports, which many athletes struggle with. So personally, I played basketball for several years, and while I was never like destined to play in the NBA, when it came to free throws, I was pretty decent. And while chances are most of us can't dunk from the free throw line like Michael Jordan or shoot a three-pointer with much consistency like Steph Curry, most of you actually have the potential to shoot a better free throw percentage than many NBA players who are making millions and millions. So first, what is a free throw? So basically, to oversimplify things, a free throw is a free shot that you get unguarded when you're fouled. So it's about 15 feet from the basket, so that's only about here, if that was the hoop. And so while we might not at first shoot it with a ton of consistency, you'd think that with a little bit of practice, you'd be able to make most of them. So then why is it that LeBron James airballs free throws all the time, and that Andre Drummond, who's one of the best centers in the NBA, misses 7 out of every 10 free throws that he takes despite practicing for hours every day? So while I can't promise you a successful career in the NBA, I bet that if you follow these steps, you can shoot a better free throw percentage than several NBA players. So step 1 is understanding that it is mental. So who is the best free throw shooter in the world? Does anyone know? Okay, well, it's not Steph Curry. He's pretty good. It's actually not LeBron, of course. He airballs a lot. It's maybe someone like Tim Duncan, who's been practicing free throws every single day for his 19-year NBA career. Well, actually, no. It's a 60-year-old dairy farmer from the state of Washington. And that's basically because he understands that free throws are 90% mental and only 10% physical. So Shaquille O'Neal is a perfect example of how it's so mental. He dominated it in basically every aspect of the game except for free throws, and that was because he was never able to overcome distractions and the mental element. So that being said, it's not always easy to ignore distractions. Here are like some distractions that you can see: Michael Phelps dancing and a cutout of your ex-wife. So you can understand that it's pretty hard sometimes to like overcome the distractions. But if you can do that, you're already 90% there. So step 1 is understanding that it is mostly mental, and ignore the distractions and focus on the technique, which brings me to part 2, technique. So BEEF is like an acronym that is used to remember how to shoot. So B stands for balance, so you want to have like a good like shoulder width apart stance. And then E is for eyes. You want your eyes on the basket, and that also plays into the mental aspect. You don't want to be looking at like people waving or anything like that. And then the other E is for elbows. You want your elbow in the center. That's going to help it go straight. And if it's out here, it might not have enough power. And then the last one is F for follow through. So you want to hold it like that, and what that's going to do is make it go straight. So when it comes down to it, the motions are pretty simple, and you don't have to be a 6'10" giant to be good at free throw shooting. So it's really just a mental game, and when it comes down to it, all of you guys can be good free throw shooters. Thank you.